they're all regulated. And you can ask people who who shared this with me was an office worker that suggested that this is what happened when they were all women and they were connecting at work. So we talked about the number one chosen addiction in the world. Somebody said sugar is the number one addiction. Well, I'm talking about chosen addictions. People aren't taking tablespoons of sugar and putting it in their mouth, but they are taking coffee, which has caffeine in it, and they are putting that in their mouth. You know that decaf has about 40%, 50% caffeine for the most part in it. So sugar, not necessarily an actively chosen addiction. Coffee and caffeine, definitely, that's our choice to go out and get that. But we get you. I'm not here to be unsympathetic to your needs. We get you. We understand why you're heading to the break room or Starbucks or another coffee shop. I understand. So are you happy being a coffee drinker that I get you?
I'm working on getting off of it. I will. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm willing to take it on because I know in the long run it's going to be best for me.
What happened to you today in terms of your head's just not functioning, huh?
Man, it for the first 3 or 4 hours I couldn't get into I couldn't wake up. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel right. And finally after about noon hit, I was like, I've got to have my coffee. And I broke down and had my coffee and I felt better. And I feel better now. And I'm okay.
So when Brent was over here the other day, he left thinking about coffee. Then he came back and he showed me the effects of coffee on the brain as seen by MRI. So that taught me something new. So he did his own research and he found something that I hadn't seen before, which is fascinating. But the pictures don't lie. It's an MRI. You can look that up and make your own decision. And you're going to have to weigh that out. Do you care enough to stop that coffee binge, addiction, or habit? Whatever you decide it is for you, you're going to have to decide what you want to do with that information. Not everybody wants to do health and wellness to the 100th percentile. That's fine, but I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts if you want to thrive and be more well without any substances. So we had withdrawals going on here on day one that were pretty powerful for someone in his 30s who's a health conscious person. So when I mentioned this to Brent, I said, well, your brain chemistry is going to be the one that's starving for that caffeine. So what would I do? What have I learned about starving? So I said I would go on a fast. I would get the toxins out of my system, and it would do, whatever it took, 3 days, 8 days, something along those lines. And I would get a nutrient-rich, happy system, promote that happy system. So I would minimize, I would just do fruit and juice, maybe start off the first day with a total splurge by doing Epsom salts internally. I mean, that's what I would do. So I'm not suggesting you do this. You learn about fasting on your own, go see your doctor, etc. But I would do some Epsom salts, clean everything out, the whole system, let that all flow out, and then I would go to nutrient rich. So I would do a juice fast with vegetable juice and fruit juice, and see if that was still providing the release from my system. And so that's what I would do. And then I would say get euphoria. I would meditate. I would go on hikes. I would go on walks. I would do yoga. I would do stretching. I might do Bikram yoga, all listening to my heart and mind at the same time. So what do you think about that prescription?
That sounds like a good plan. If the headaches do persist, one of my old sayings I go back to is pain is weakness leaving the body. So I think in this case, me being addicted to coffee, which I am, and I think a lot of people are, if we stop something and it gives us withdrawals and makes us feel bad, it means that it was an addiction and it is a problem. So with that in mind, if I do feel those negative withdrawal symptoms like headaches or nausea, then that is that weakness leaving the body, and that is making me stronger to stand up against coffee.
Take your stand. Okay, so those are some messages from Brent and Sifu Slim. I write about coffee a bit in Sedentary Nation, which is available on Amazon and sedentarynation.com. And you can take a look and read up on this stuff and see what our philosophies are. Maybe they jive with your philosophy, jive with yours. And so you make up your own minds. And so we're going to end that on a little bit of a very popular song from the 1990s. That's called Naughty by Nature.